The next item is the appointment of William Stone to the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation for a term expiring February 1st, 2025. And I believe Mr. Stone is with us, and I think he's been extremely patient and learning a great deal about the Senate Commerce Committee this evening. So welcome if you'd like to speak to the committee, Mr. Stone. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here, and perhaps I've been a little patient, but really it's all of you that I have to thank for hanging in there with me on the Friday of a long weekend. I will be brief. I'm not nearly as interesting as the prior two people who appeared before you. My name is Bill Stone. I'm honored to be here before you in connection with my nomination by Governor Raimondo for the board of the Rhode Island Commerce Corp. I've lived in Rhode Island for about 20 years, 2 of which years I lived in Warwick. The rest of the time I lived in East Greenwich until last December when I moved to Providence. I moved to Rhode Island to serve as a business executive with a publicly traded technology company headquartered in Providence. While we sold that company a short time after I moved here from San Francisco, I quickly decided that I wanted to stay for the long term and raise my family here. I started my own business at the beginning of 2002, and that business is still going strong, employing around 100 people in different parts of the country, both on the East Coast and the West Coasts. While growing that business, I've always set aside time to be engaged in my community, whether as a lay leader in my church, as a director of nonprofits, including the Public's Radio and the GAMM Theatre, and by serving as a municipal official, having served on both the planning board of East Greenwich for a number of years and on the East Greenwich Town Council. I'm now excited about the prospect of serving the state by joining this board of the Commerce Corp. I believe my combination of business experience, legal experience, and municipal experience will allow me to be a strong contributor to the board. I've grown a business, and I've advised many businesses from startup stage through multinational public company stage. I understand, I think, therefore, the needs and dynamics of business and how the right government partnerships can help them grow and thrive. I also understand the complexities of tax policies and the desire of taxpayers to make sure their money is well spent. And importantly, I understand and value very much the importance of transparency in government affairs. As the state emerges, hopefully soon, from the scourge of COVID-19, it will be more important than ever that this state use all available tools to spur economic recovery and job growth. With an unemployment rate still hanging around over 8%, and with some of our most vulnerable communities especially hard hit, we need to take an all-hands-on-deck approach to getting Rhode Island's economy humming, with job opportunities to earn, at the very least, a living wage. It would be an honor to play a part in that by serving on the Commerce Corp board, and I hope you all will support my nomination. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Bill. Appreciate your willingness to serve in this capacity. When I was going over your resume and so forth, I was very interested to see that you're a director of Rhode Island Public Radio, or you were. And thank you for that. I think that's an important civic duty for the state of Rhode Island, as well as your service in town government in East Greenwich. Thank you very much for that. I also want the committee member, I'm sure the committee members already have received these, but we will place on file, we have 2 letters of recommendation for this appointment of Mr. Stone to the Commerce Corporation, and they will be part of the record. Are there questions from committee members? Senator Mack.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for sticking with us this night. And if you haven't already caught on to my theme of the night, it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. So my questions will be centered around diversity, equity, and inclusion for you. Are you familiar with the term or the theory of the economic wealth gap?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. And how do you intend to use this position to address the economic wealth gap with intentionality?
Well, I guess I'll answer that in multiple ways. First of all, I think that the power of this board to make change, to make positive change, really starts with our role in growing jobs and the economy in the state as a whole. If we grow the economy and we get jobs growing again, all communities should benefit from that. However, I also think that as we build back from COVID, we can build back better, and we can build back more equitably. And so I absolutely would support, in fact, advocate for programs that would help companies do a better job with hiring from underrepresented communities. Some of that may involve some training of companies. We hear a lot about the value of training programs for employees, and I think those are really important. That's a huge step. But I also think that there's a training opportunity and a need, in fact, on the hiring side, on the employer side, to understand that people that come from different communities may present their attributes and their ability to contribute positively in different ways. And so I think if the Commerce Corp can help with that sort of training for our employers will benefit because they'll learn that there's a deeper pool of qualified employees than they may already know about. And it will make them better at holding on to employees that can help drive their businesses forward. So I very much support that sort of thing. I also think that there are needed investments for the state to make in infrastructure. I heard you earlier mention your support of transportation infrastructure. That is super important. I also think digital infrastructure is something that the state needs to be very mindful of. One of the things that it remains to be seen as we come out of the pandemic is how permanent some of the changes in the workplace we've seen during the pandemic will be. There are some opportunities for people in different communities to get jobs that they weren't able to get because they weren't in proximity to them previously. As more and more jobs can take place, in work from home situations or remotely, we can think about new strategies to get people working. But in order to do that, you need to make sure that folks in these communities have good access to solid internet connections. Otherwise, that won't work, and technology. So I think there are lots of things that we can do, grants that we can come up with, loan programs, and training opportunities that we can employ to increase the equity of job opportunities and wealth in the state.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Mack. Any other questions for Mr. Stone? Yes, Senator Mendes.
Actually, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate some of the things that you just said, Mr. Stone, but particularly one of the, if you notice, I brought up often, the climate crisis and a lot of the things that we're in right now, and it's, I've said this a couple of times, not accidental and not new. However, we've heard from people that they kind of reference a long experience in the State House. So I actually appreciate the fact that your experience is not all in the State House and that you're bringing a very new and fresh, it appears just by what you said, a new kind of a fresh perspective, which I think is needed in this council right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that may bring. I'm curious about, and I've heard some things right now regarding inclusion, equity, digital infrastructure, those types of things. Is there anything else that's kind of pressing that you think that you can kind of bring that has not been brought to this position before? I'd love to hear what that may be.
Well, thank you, Senator, first of all, for the kind words and the expression of confidence. I won't presume to say that I know what everybody has brought previously, and therefore what I'm going to bring that is necessarily different. But I do think I bring some qualities and perspectives. I've been in Rhode Island 20 years. That feels to me like a long time, but it's not a lifetime. I've lived in different parts of the country. I've learned that here in Rhode Island, we, for good reason, take great pride in the things that we develop here, but we could also learn from things that go on in other parts of the country. I'm fortunate to have a business that allows me to interact with innovation and innovators in the West Coast and the East Coast, different parts of the country. Every day I'm speaking to founders of companies that are developing interesting technologies. Some of my company's clients are in the green energy space, creating technologies that are both on the energy creation transmission side as well as on the consumer side that can contribute to a greener environment and economy. So I hope that I can bring some creativity and some new thinking to some of our programs. I also will insist on transparency in our programs and our grant making. It's something that I really took to heart while serving in municipal government. I think really as an advocate for business, making sure that all of the things that we do in public life in Rhode Island are transparent so that companies know what they're dealing with when they come to this state to do business is of paramount importance. So an insistence on ethics and transparency, as well as creativity and knowledge of the innovation economy in different parts of the country, I hope will help me contribute positively.
Yeah, thank you for answering my questions so directly. I may actually have an enthusiastic yes this time. Imagine that. All right.
Senator.
Thank you, Senator Mendes. Any other questions from committee members? Okay, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to move this appointment. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
We have one by Senator Coleman. Is there a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Second.
Second by Senator McCaffrey. All those in favor, we will have the clerk call the roll, if you would, please.
Senator Anderson.
Yes.
Senator Gallo.
Yes.
Senator Coleman.
Yes.
Senator Lombardo.
Yes.
Senator Mack.
Yes.
Senator Mendes.
Yes.
Senator Morgan.
Yes.
Senator Picard.
Yes.
Senator Sosnowski.
Yes.
Senator Goodwin.
Yes.
Senator McCaffrey. Senate President Ruggiero. We have 10 in the affirmative, none in the negative.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, and congratulations, Mr. Stone. We
Thank you,
will
ma'am.
recommend that the full Senate grant advice and consent to your appointment. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.